Hello and welcome. This is Chrisanne. I'm coming at you from Elemental Energies with Chrisanne. I have a long video for you. We are going to be making 10 plus, possibly 11 ways of making trees. Now, I don't really want to call them holiday trees. I might call them holiday trees. I don't know what I'm going to call them. Trees. You can use these in your holiday cards. You can use them in a holiday journal, junk journal, art journal. You can use them to decorate the front of tags. You can use them for the front of hidden journaling. I don't care how you use these. They can be used in so many different applications. I'm just showing you the trees. Chances are I'll do follow-up videos with some of these trees and turn them into other things. But this is going to be a long enough video just showing you the trees. So that's my plan. So let's get started. I have tree number 1 right here in front of me. If you are like me, you collect stickers. And if you're like me and you're on Temu can be a really sort of dangerous place for stickers. They have great deals on stickers, and they sell a lot of them on these rolls. I have so many different variations, and there's 500 stickers on these rolls, and most of these are under $5. Frankly, I've gotten most of them for like a couple of bucks. So we're going to be making trees for tree number 1 with mandala stickers. So I have a whole bunch of paper that I've cut up. So we're going to be making everything on these papers and mounting them on these papers. Of course, I like to mount a lot of these things on black paper because I find it really gives it a really nice pop. So you can use any stickers. I mean, I'm just showing you the types that I have. Now, if you're using a roll of stickers or a sheet of stickers, doesn't matter. They're both arranged the same way. Start at the top and work your way through, because when you do that, the repeats will be spaced out. Repeat. Do you know what I mean? They're spaced out enough that I don't have to worry. I am not very technical. If you want to be very technical and you want to draw lines, you have at it. I am not that level of technical. And I'm assuming that's the middle. These stickers are nice. Once again, I said I got them on Temu. These stickers are nice because I can sort of line them up. They're, mandala stickers. So there's a sort of center and there's lines. I'm covered in glue. Just ignore that. So these stickers for me were easy to use. And I can kind of, oops, what am I doing? I can kind of shake it up with how I'm turning them. Trying to keep them as even as possible. There we go. And then for this one, I'm just going to put one in the middle. And one on either side. Just kind of keeping them as straight as I can. Let me fix these. Starting to aggravate me. This might be why this video is so long, just because I get a little technical with some of this stuff. Okay. So I was getting ready to do this video. If you follow me from way back when, I was telling the stories of the numerous turkeys that we have here in our yard. I'm in Maine. I live in the woods. There's turkeys. So I'm sitting down, getting ready to do this video. It took me a while to sort of collect all my stuff for this video. Like, if you don't make videos, people have no idea how much prep time goes into videos. This one was a lot of prep, let me tell you. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating a fact. Oops. And so I'm just finally sitting down to do my video. This one's going to overlap a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm just finally sitting down to do my video. And I hear those darn turkeys. I'm just taking a black pen and I'm just doing sort of an 2 lines abstract tree trunk. There. And then let's do the edges. So I'm hearing those turkeys. Well, I'm hearing a turkey pecking away at my car. It's not my son's car. My son's at work, so it's just my car that's out there. And I'm saying to myself, just ignore it. Just ignore it. And then I'm like, yeah, I can't ignore that. Because if I sat down to do a long video and all I could hear was that stupid turkey pecking away at the side of my car, and they leave marks and they leave dents, it's annoying and aggravating. I'm like, I can't sit down and do my video. So I get up from my spot, march my little butt out there, and there's like 20 turkeys in my yard. And I'm like, what the heck? Are we having a convention? What's going on? So they moved on their way and they kept going. But I'm still hearing somebody pecking at my car. So it snowed the other day. I had like 6 to 8 inches. And my plow guy, poor thing, his truck broke down. So we eventually came to my yard, but I was trying to shovel some important spots myself. That was not fun. So I'm trekking over snow and ice, and I'm a fall hazard. So I have my winter stick. I have a winter stick and I have a summer stick. So I have my winter stick. And I'm walking over towards the turkey. And luckily he heard me and he left. Ay, ay, ay. So this took 8 minutes. This is tree number 1. We're going to move quicker on the other trees. So mandala tree number 1. Let's move this out of the way. Tree number 2. Now I don't have demos I don't have actual tree demos. But I have this. Now, this is a piece of glossy, thicker book page. You can also use magazine pages for this. This one didn't come out my total favorite. What you do is you take, and I used this one, you take a stencil. We're going to use more of an abstract stencil this go around. Take a stencil, you put it underneath your page. This clip is easier for my hands to work. Normally these clips I can't work. Take a stencil and you take some sort of sandpaper, sanding block, sanding, I have my sanding discs for this too. Whatever sanding you want to do. You take your stencil, put it underneath your paper. And then you sand away. And you can see that when you do that, the design comes through. Let's do some over here. And I'm just choosing to use the side of my sanding block. You can use this however you choose. You can do it like this if you want. Isn't that cool? I love that. I just think that is so neat. Let's do this right here. I like this spot, my favorite. So, stencil, underneath, book page, whatever. Book page, magazine page. And then we are going to, I just dropped my scissors, my other scissors I might need. And we are going to cut this into a tree. Now I'm just cutting an elongated triangle. Some of us cut better than others. I'm not in the better than others category. I'm in the other end of the category. Let me trim that down a little better. Let's see, where do I want to trim? Let's trim right here. Paper has stuff all over it. I'll grab a different one. There's that, and we are going to do the tree trunk. You can do the tree trunk any way you want. And have a glue that functions a little bit better than this one. Let's see. Much better. Okay, good. You can also use glue stick as well. So I was saying we got like 6 to 8 inches of snow. And it's been very cold at night, and it's going to be even colder tonight. And I'm trying to get my mom moved in, which I wanted to do before now, but I ended up getting sick with pneumonia for like a month. And I mean, number one, I didn't want her around me. And number two, I didn't have the energy to clean the back room where I'm putting her. So I called my friend, who's the one that's going to be helping me. Like, all right, I'm feeling better. I would really appreciate it if you could squeeze me into your schedule. So she's coming on Saturday. And I said, plan to spend a decent amount of time here because I want to get this done. You know, I had to fix my bathroom because we had that massive water leak and it affected my bathroom, my kitchen, the hallway, everything was a disaster. Pantry had to get gutted, back hall got gutted, everything. Hallway in the house got gutted. It was a disaster. Isn't that adorable? Now, you want to put a star at the top, go ahead. You want to put flat back gems and decorate it. And in fact, yes, I do, as soon as I can find them. I have them here. We'll do some of these, some of the little tiny ones. I wanted some of the bigger ones, but you know what? I wonder if they fell. Oh, everything fell the other day. This has not been fun. Anyways, so I've had to work my way sort of to the bedroom where I'm going to be putting my mom. So I said to my friend, could you come and help me? And she says, absolutely. I have exceptionally good friends. So, yay. I said to my mom, I want you in by next week. And she's like, next week? I'm not going to be ready. I'm like, well, get ready. So, I don't know. This was a rather significant storm that we just had. So I would, like to move her in because my car's terrible in the snow. I can't make it up her driveway. I'm looking for a different color. Here we go. I can't make it up her driveway. My son can. So, yeah. That's the plan. So fingers crossed that we're able to get everything done this weekend. There. That looks cute. It's very simplistic. It's very sort of minimalist, but yet look at the recycling that we're doing with that, either magazine or book page. How cute. I'm constantly spilling these, so I am going to put this away and put this up here. So that is number 2. So I'm keeping all these hopefully together. Next one, let's go to number 3. And let me grab it over here. I have a whole bag of goodies. So I have some scrapbooking paper that's kind of seen some better days, So we are going to do this side and this side and this side. So I'm layering all 3 of these together. Saves me time, saves me energy, and I get everything done at once. So let's see, where do I want to start? Let's start right here. Probably gonna, you know what? I want to turn this way. That's what I want to do. So it, let's see, do I want to do it that way? No, I think I wanted it the way I had it. Yeah, okay, here we go. And for this one, we are tearing some triangles. So the only one that I needed to worry about that was sort of directional was the book page. So I have this layered. The book page, oh, I did it upside down. I have two pieces of scrapbooking paper. Yeah, see, I was trying to get it. I had it right when I flipped it the other way. We're going to still use it upside down. And we're going to layer the trees onto this. And this one, I do want to edge these trees, and I am using walnut stain today. And if you have like star charms or something like that, you want to put it at the top of the trees, star cutouts, go ahead and use that. I have, find it. It's going to take me a second to find it. This one. Except I don't think it's in. Oh, here it is. Good. I am using these snowflakes. Is it going to fit there? Yep, it is. And let's grab a blue. Oh, my things are falling right here. I'll use that blue, turquoise blue. Put those away. And we are going to stamp a background, which kind of could count as another one if you wanted. Another technique. I'm just trying to give it a little visual interest in the back. And yes, I am going to do the whole paper because the trees aren't going to cover everything. And I'm turning my paper because your eye will pick up the pattern. If I just kind of stamped this right across, your eye will pick that pattern up. And I don't want that to happen. Okay, there is that one. I have my cloth here. I'm just going to wipe this off on my cloth. Keep that there because we will use that again. Put this away. Let's grab my corner rounder, which I clearly enjoy using. And let's just grab this one while we're here. So if you want to make pockets with these, if you want to mount this in your journal, glue it here and here in the page, and then have this be a tuck spot. So many different ways these can be used. I'm just going through the sort of tree techniques. And there's so many more tree techniques. So we're going to put this one up here. I'll put this one here. And we're going to put this one here. And I'm going to draw some trunks just to kind of keep it grounded. So it doesn't look like it's floating in air, because I already edged these. Did I edge the right side? Yes, I did. So this is tearing scrapbooking paper and book page to create trees. Tearing paper. Now, normally if I wasn't doing such a long video, I would have retorn that one. So here is it just on white, and here is it edged with the black. Now, if I was doing these as cards or whatever, I'm going to add a lot more detail to these. I would add stars. I would add some more like flat back gems and things like that. I am just coming through and showing you the tree technique, okay? So these are nowhere near as sort of blinged out as I would like them to be. So that was 1, 2, 3. That's 3. Number 3 technique. Number 4 technique. Let me grab this over here so that I can grab this over here. And let me grab my other paper. So for this one, we are using a ledger paper. Now I have a full-size ledger paper here. I'm running out of white paper. Let me just put that over there. I have 2 pieces, actually, a full-size ledger paper, and I don't need that. Now, the reason I chose ledger paper is it's green. There's a lot of greens in here, so it kind of looks like trees. And it's very lined and patterned. It almost reminds me of sort of like a plaid, like a buffalo plaid or something like that. So for this one, we are going to tear it again. And we're going to use a ruler to tear. I don't really use a ruler to tear in my videos very much. I like tearing paper with my hands. But this is another technique. And I love the paper for this. Let's see. Let's measure how tall we want this. Pretty darn good. So we can always tear these, make other things with those. We're done with the ruler. Let me put that away. So torn paper with your hands, torn paper with the ruler. And don't forget to use the ledger paper, because I think it kind of looks really neat. It's a very sort of, I don't know, vintagey look to it. And if you need to give something to a guy, especially if they work with numbers, I think that's kind of clever. So easy peasy one here. Let me get my corner rounder again. I am corner rounding all of these because I'm going to actually use these in something. Some of these are going to be cards. Some of them are going to be other things. And you cut the paper to the size that suits your needs. I like it with the brown edging too because I think that just, you know, equals a little more vintage as well. Now, if you want to make a whole bunch of these trees and layer them on this card or whatever you're turning this into, go ahead. Once again, just the technique. That's all I'm showing you. I'm not getting fancy and decorating them. Is that going to be too tall? It's okay if it's too tall because the black paper is under it. And just to ground this one, let's do the tree trunk. I have some other really cute holiday ideas for future videos. Some of it I got on Pinterest. Some of it I was like, oh, it triggers me into thinking of something else that I already make. You know, that type of thing. I need to take a drink. I'm feeling better from the pneumonia, but my voice is still, just my throat is still a little off. Okay. So, I don't even know what number we're on. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we're only at 4. 4. So there's number 4. Torn with a ruler using ledger paper. Okay. Let's add that one to our pile. The next one that we are going to create is we are going to use a napkin. Now, depending on where you live, you might have a theme to where you live. Where I live in Maine, so I'm by the ocean. I mean, I live in the woods, but it's a very nautical place. There's a lot of nautical things. So don't think that you have to only use Christmas themed items. There's another layer. There normally is. Let me grab my tape. Where'd I put my tape? I just had my tape. You know what? Let's use a sticker. A sticker will work. Maybe there isn't another layer. Normally there's 3 layers. Oh, there is. There it is. So normally I use a piece of tape, not a sticker. But I'll use that sticker for something else. So you want to get down to the just one layer. And I'm sure you've decoupaged before, but that's basically what we're going to be doing. In this case, I am going to be using a glue stick. And you know what? Let's decoupage it onto this piece of paper so that the lines show through. How neat is that? I can get the lid off. There we go. So I'm just going to put glue stick, and I'm using glue stick. You want to use Mod Podge. You want to use any of those other mediums that are a liquid medium. Go ahead. for me, I find this so simple and so easy using the glue stick. And I just kind of roll it and lay it. If I was doing a larger art piece, I would not use a glue stick. I would use something like a Mod Podge or something like that. But because I'm doing sort of a smaller piece, glue stick works. So don't think that you have to do traditional Christmassy things. Like I have Christmas napkins. I don't know where it went right now. It is here somewhere. Yeah, we'll just stick with this. So don't think you just have to do those sort of red and green items. You can make a tree out of anything. And here in Maine, it's all about the nautical. Let me tell you. They build trees out of lobster traps, buoys, everything. It's really neat. So this is your main tree. And just cut it into a triangle. It's an elongated triangle. Let's add a little more ink to this. And once again, it's just the technique. What is the theme in your area? Where I live, like I said, nautical. Maybe you have flamingos in your area. Do a flamingo napkin, but cut it in the shape of a tree. You know, maybe boats. Like in this area, it would be like lobstering boats. This one, I keep taking the first one. The first one's dirty. Use this one. And if you want to do some of the snowflakes in the background, let me see how the snowflakes would look. If I don't like it, I can flip it over because every page is double-sided. Actually, this color will match this napkin nicely. So I did not win the things. If you watched my video on that large, gorgeous fundraiser that we went to, we were really hoping to win one of those beautiful trees. We didn't win. My best friend didn't win. We didn't win. But that's okay. There's always next year. And they sold out of tickets. So that means they raised over $100,000, I believe. How fantastic is that for those charities? So happy that so many people were giving. Oh, you know what? I think I am going to leave that. Yeah, it looks like the stars at the top right there. People were generous, and, you know, it's fun. So if you haven't seen my video and you didn't know what I'm talking about, go check out my video on Festival of Fostering of the Trees. That was a fundraiser, and you won the completely decorated tree with all the goodies, and you bought your tickets, you put them into whichever trees that you liked. I think we did almost every tree. Almost. And my 18-year-old child thought he was funny. I don't know if I said this yet in another video, but there was a lot of trees that had alcohol with them. And every time we'd come across one of those trees, I'm like, no, no. So he would look at me, give me this smirk, look me dead in the eye, and take his ticket and drop it into that bucket. I'm like, oh. I said, how are you going to win that? You can't even, yeah, we're allergic to it all. He's like, oh, I'm going to give it to my father for Christmas. That's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. But it was the smirk. The smirk, you know? So, yeah. I will tell his father that story. There goes my stomach. Squawking again. So, yeah, I thought that was funny. Because I said to my mother, you know he's going to win one of those. And what are we going to do? You know, I would have had to go with him to pick it up, or I'd have to pick it up for him. Well, not a problem. But, I mean, he doesn't look 18. You know, nobody knows he's 18. Nobody. But there was a lot of alcohol. Like, there was one whole tree. The whole tree was made up of wine bottles. He was clever, but we don't drink. I mean, I know people that do drink, and I would have given it as gifts, and, you know, like he said, give stuff to his father. How funny. Okay, so, napkin, decoupaged, turned into a tree, does not have to be Christmas, holiday, whatever your holiday is that you celebrate, doesn't have to be holiday themed. It can be local to your location themed. So that's this one. All right, let's put that in the pot. Next one. We are going to get a couple things out for this one. They didn't all fall. Okay. We are going to need to mask off, and we're going to need to do this with the next couple. So I'm using washi tape, and we're going to find the approximate middle, approximate down here. See if I can get it triangular. There we go. So we're masking off. And if you need more space covered up with a mask, you can always come in with sticky notes, Post-it notes. And we're masking this off, and we're moving some of these things out of the way. Let's do that. We don't need some of these things here. So yeah, we didn't win anything at that fundraiser. Not even the alcohol stuff. I surely thought he was gonna win, just to spite me. Switch these. Which, whatever. That's fine. I have no problem that we are allergic to all of that. Okay, so we have this masked off. I have a list of things that we are going to do with these masked off ones. Say that 3 times. And the first one is probably going to be the obvious one. We are going to watercolor. If I can get this open. And to begin with, whenever you start watercoloring, you always have to wet and activate your watercolors. And because we're sort of thinking outside the box, let me wet this, for this whole video, we're not necessarily going to use a lot of the greens and reds. I mean, am I going to use green and red? Yes, I am going to use green and red. But we're going to use some other things too. Like, we're going to start, let's see which one we'll start with. Let's start with this one. And I'm going to load up my brush. I am not using watercolor paper. You can. If you're going to make a whole bunch of these, would I use watercolor paper? Absolutely, I would. I'm just showing you the technique. I'm using white 110-pound cardstock for all of these. And because my desk isn't big enough, I need to put this over here so you're not going to see what pan I'm dipping into. So we are just going to, oh, and this is my metallic watercolors. I am laying down some swishes. And let's take a little bit of swish with this sort of burnt, orangey, reddy kind of color. We're going to come in with this more sort of poppy, pink, red kind of color. Actually, I'm going to just pick up a whole bunch of pink. You can kind of see my watercolor tray here. And I'm just doing swishes and bringing them across. Now I'm going to come in with some purple. You know what? I'm going to put more water on this. I'm going to come in with some purples. I have a whole bunch of different purples here that I want to use. And I'm going to start filling in a lot of these spaces. There's my stomach again. And I'm picking up different purples. Like I'm using I'm using these, and I'm just kind of coming in and I'm picking up different ones as I go. And let me come back and I see a space there. Okay, now I have to come in with my sort of turquoisey kind of colors, and I am now going to, I'm going to fill in. And I'm just kind of swishing around as I go. These are my colors, these turquoisey. Some other blues here. Oh, there goes my stomach. I really did eat. Oh, ignore my stomach. There, I think. I have to put a little more paint on my brush. All right, I need to sort of pick this up so I can see if there's anywhere I missed. There's a whole bunch of places I missed, but you know what? Go with the white space. That is that one. I'm going to get another drink before we move on. So for this one, watercolor. I don't feel like you have to use the sort of traditional-ish colors. And you know what I want to do before I take this off is I want to come in and I want to gingerly clean away some of that wet watercolor that's on my washi. Some of it's coming off and some of it's not, and that is okay. I'm going to remove all of this at the same time. We're going to come back in and use some of this again. So I'm going to put it right over here as I remove it to let it dry for a moment. How do we get you here? Take that away, take that away. To me, this is a very festive, colorful. I like color. So anything festive color, my mom would say festivus. and because I used the metallic, look at how really shiny that is. So let's come in with the corner rounder. Hope that was dry. Dries fairly quickly, I have to say. There. And then wait till you see it with the black behind it. Now I know it's kind of giving a little bit of a glare there under those lights, but I'll move it in a moment. Did I do that one right? There. I'll be cleaning all these bits up later. Okay. Colors look really pretty, really shiny, really sparkly. Look at the depth of color now. It just gives it so much more depth of color, and it almost brings out the colors even more when you have the black paper behind it. Should we edge this one? Sure, let's edge this one, just because we are with some of the others. And because this is not watercolor paper, it is doing a little bit of a wave with the water saturation on it. So hopefully when I glue it down, it will fix that a little bit. And all these ideas for trees, I'm sure I'm going to miss a whole bunch. So how do you make your trees? And then let's just press all this glue down. I could have turned it upside down and done it, but this paper has a lot of stuff on it already. Got a little on it, but that's okay. So there's that one. I love that one. I think that one's just so pretty and colorful. It is super colorful in person. And it's fun. So let's add that to our pile. Let me close up my watercolors. Now the next one. Let me grab the next one. And let me grab a paper. Let me reuse my washi. Just kind of run my finger over that watercolor. It's pretty good. And we're gonna hopefully find the middle there. Hopefully found the middle there as well. This one's a little off center, but I'm okay with that. Put that down. Put this down. So we are masking off our tree once again. And for this one, the Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. Now maybe you're a little shy when it comes to using watercolor. Maybe you don't have watercolor. Maybe you have these. Yes, I kept the thingy on it. So let's come in and let's lay down some color with the watercolor pencils. I do not use these a lot. In all honesty, they are not my favorite. I have tried so many others that I like considerably better. These are not my favorite. But that being said, I have them. Let's use them. So I'm just drawing a whole bunch of swirls, and I am overlapping my swirls. And I am not doing traditional colors. I am adding pink. I am adding turquoise along with my greens. And whenever I do anything like this, I tend to start with my darker color, whether it's painting, pencils, whatever. I start with my darker color and I end with my lightest color. Now, if all you had is colored pencils, you can leave this here and have this be your final product. But because this is watercolor, we are going to watercolor this. So the first thing that I want to do, actually, is I'm going to clean off my brush. Let me do that first. Okay. Then what we want to do, we're activating it. Once again, not watercolor paper. And I can come in with that same swirl motion and activate some of this. So maybe I would have used watercolor paper on this one because it's getting super saturated, but that's okay. Let me add some water to this. This is why I'm not exactly a fan of these. They don't dissipate with the water as much as I would like them to. But that's why I created a pattern. I still had some watercolor in my brush, so you can see a little bit of the metallic up there. Just get this fuzz out of here. So this is this one. It is fun to create, and it is pretty. It's just not one of my favorite products to use. I don't think you've ever seen me use these. I mean, I've used them a few times. I mean, they're not bad. I see other people use them and absolutely love them and swear by them. Power to you. I much prefer to get out my watercolor paints and do things that way. But is it still pretty? Yeah, it is. And I like that I can get the detail, which I'm not always very good with watercolor paints. Like I went in and created my swirls, and you can still see the swirl. I mean, up here you can still see I had watercolor metallic in my brush. So this is more when the watercolor is out of the brush, the metallic. But you can still see the pink stayed, so it looks like it's sort of Christmas ornaments. I don't have a problem with that. But if you are intending to use this and thinking it's just going to blend into your paper and it's going to turn into a watercolor, it's not. I have never found it to be. Now, other people use them much more successfully than I do. It is possibly user error. I'll give you that. But that being said, I will go to watercolors before I'll go to these. It's still a nice product. Out of all the Tim Holtz products with his name on them, this is by far my least favorite. You can tell I use so many Tim Holtz products, especially the inks, sprays. I don't have as many of the paints. I'd like to get more of those. Love the die cuts. I use all that stuff all the time. I mean, I'm a fan of his products. Love the stamps. Stencils. These are just... And I suppose we have to have something that we like the least. This is my like the least. Didn't leave space to ground it with a tree trunk, but that's okay. Do you have more success with these than I do? I hope you do, frankly. But I still wanted to include it on the list because it's still beautiful. It still came out really pretty. I am very happy with that. Otherwise I wouldn't even have used it to begin with. But I'm just saying, if we have to have a thing we like and a thing we don't like, see, it saturated the paper quite a lot, which that's great. It probably would have been better on watercolor paper. Not saying it would have spread the pigment any better, but I'm just saying. It looks beautiful. Yes, I did have a little bit of metallic in my brush, which actually I think helped this. I think that was a good thing. So yeah. So there's that one. We're going to add that to the pile. So we're getting a lot of these made. Next one that I want to do, I am going to come back to the masking off. And this one's going to be a lot more messier. This is wet still a little bit, but that's okay. See, I'm getting my use out of this washi here. There. There. All right. So this one, the next one, it's a lot more messier. So I'm trying to get as much covered as possible. It's a little bit not covered right there. So let's just lift this up. And we're just going to tuck that right there. Okay. So the next one. Another Tim Holtz product. We are going to use the Distress crayons. And I like these a lot more. So let's just grab some colors here. See, I have one of the Christmas ones here too. So some of these are the Christmas colors. When I use them, I'll go through the colors that I'm using. It's kind of a lot, but that's all right. Okay, so I have bubbling, oh, that's the Halloween one. Bubbling Cauldron, Squeezed Lemonade, Snow Flurries, Wilted Violet, Jack-o'-lantern, Merry Mint, Candied Apple, and then at the end we're going to use Antique Bronze. Actually, you know what? Instead of the bronze, I have... That's not what I wanted. I wanted a brighter gold. This is Tarnished Brass. Okay, I'm going to leave both of these out. So we have Tarnished Brass and Antique Bronze. All right, once again, we're going to start with the green, and we're going to do that same kind of swoop. And I'm just to be consistent with the other items that I've been making. And I'm okay if there's white space on this one. And just doing these swoops is so simple. It's so incredibly easy. But look at how effective I think it is. There. And then we have to have some turquoise. I'm just going to go down one side. I'll come back up the other side. Making longer sort of swoops. So a lot of these things that we're doing have comparable colors in a comparable sort of technique of applying the color or the material. So once again, I started with my darker colors. I'm ending with my lightest color. When you do that, it brightens everything up. I mean, you can see this side versus this side. A little bit more here. These I like a lot more than the watercolor pencil. These I use a lot more. Okay, I'm going to put these away. I don't always use them on camera a lot, but I use them. And then we're going to come in with this afterwards. Now, my favorite painting tool is my finger. So we are going to come in and smudge this in the exact same fashion. I'm going to go down one side and then down the other side. So I am going to smush this. Whoops. And I'm leaning hard on this. Obviously, I just moved my paper. So you can see this side versus this side with the smooshing it. You can use water on this. So you can use, actually, let me get this in a better swoosh motion. You can use your paintbrush with just water on this. But, you know, we've done that with a couple of the other things, so I want to use my finger. There. Now, if I want to just add a pop, pop of metallic. Just going to come and lightly blend that one. I'm not using anywhere near as much pressure. Which one did I use? I don't even remember. I wanted to use both of them. I can't remember. So we're going to come in and do this. And this over the top picks up the metallic so nicely. There's my cloth. I'm sure I'm looking right at it. Oh, God. Oh, here it is. I put it over here. Definitely need to wipe my finger off before I come in and remove any of that stuff, because there's white paper underneath and I will get it all over the white paper. Let me put these away. So these are the Distress Crayons by Ranger. Jim Holtz. So let's remove all of this so we can have our big reveal. washi over here. But you can see how many times I use this washi tape too. Look at that. How pretty. And of course, because I used the metallic over it, it gave it a really pretty shine. Very, very comparable look. Let me bring back some of these. So that was the pencil. Now, the pencil I did in circle swirls. This I did in swishes. This is the watercolor paint, traditional watercolor paint. And you can see it looks darn similar, but this one was so much easier because I didn't have to get out all my watercolors. What are the other ones? Hold on. Okay, they didn't have that swoosh. Okay, let me put these away. Let me do the edging on this. So far, which is your favorite? I mean, to me, this one, super easy. If I wanted to work with color. Very, very, very easy. Don't have to get out the water. Don't have to get out my water. Oh, let me do this. Don't have to get out my watercolors. Easy peasy. Frankly, this one might be a little more expensive to create than the watercolor one. The watercolor, you can get a pan of watercolors for like 20 bucks, 40 bucks, whatever. They go up from there. Those pencils, the crayons, are a little bit more pricier, but you can get them on a good sale. I do buy mine on sale. I wish Michaels still sold them. Michaels used to sell them. So far, this one is one of my favorites, obviously. And once again, you want to come in with your flat back gems. Go ahead. There's that one. Okay, next on my list. Need to come back with my washi tape. Okay, so let me do my washi tape. I'm doing a lot of masked techniques, which is fun. It's getting really windy out. I don't like that. When it's ice and wind and snow, that's not a good combo. Okay, there's that side. I'm going to turn it this way. Come on, washi tape. And this is Timu washi tape too. Yeah, we'll just leave it there. Okay, there's that. Now let's come back with my Post-it notes to give me an additional, we're going to need the additional coverage space for this one. Where's the other piece? Oh, here it is. And we are getting our money's worth out of all of these pieces. How awesome is that? I'm going to tear this, put this one here, so it kind of holds that one down. Okay. And then I'm going to get this out. And this is going to take me 2 seconds to find this one. I have a big bag. goodies for this video. All right. Okay, now I have a whole bunch of Stampin' Up! Stuff that I bought this summer from a secondhand haul. Okay, I'm sure you've watched that video, or multiple videos. So I just pulled out these, use what you want. These are my suggestions. Festive Flurry, Cheerful Tags, Snowflake Wishes, and some of these have 2 in the box. So far I'm leaning towards we're going to use this one. And then this one is Flurry of Wishes. So I was leaning towards this one first, but then I pulled this one out and I'm like, you know what? This one I wanted to use this combination right here from Flurry of Wishes, but I think we're going to use Snowflake Wishes. But I just wanted to show you this technique's going to work with all of these. This one has multiple things in it, so it has the die cuts in it as well as the stamps. Now we are going to use make my stamp blocks. So the gal that owned all of these passed away, and she was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And her nephew inherited all of her goodies. And I was lucky enough to buy them from a local charity shop. So that's what we're using. Okay. So I just put some on both sides of these, only to maximize my space. You want to do each one of these in a different color? Go ahead. I am not. I am going to do them all in, and I didn't say it in the beginning, I'm using Elements by Lavinia Stamps. I'm using Mermaid. And we're just going to stamp within the tree shape. Normally I like to do things in 3s, but this one's going to be in a 2. And I am going to get this open so I can just place these back in here. I need to do this at the same time or else they get lost. That's my other tip for you. I'm going to go with the next largest stamp, which is this one that picked up all the little bits. These are solid stamps, so they're going to take just a little bit more of pressing them down, just holding it there for a second because they're more like a silhouette stamp. This is why we mask everything off. I will put that over there. This is our next biggest one. there. Let's get rid of that one so I know I've used them and put them away. Clean off my finger. Actually, this is the next biggest one here. Is it gonna fit? There goes my stomach again. And then I just have this little one. There's just going to be a couple next to each other, which I don't normally like. But that is okay. Oh, you know what? I think we'll just do like that there. I think I'm done with that one. Oh, okay. So using rubber stamps, that's not necessarily what you would think of to create a tree. And in this case, we are using snowflakes with a mask to create the tree. Very simple. Oops, come on, you. Very simple, very easy. When you're using a mask, it makes, I don't know, it's so much more easier to begin with. Cleaning off my hands because they're filthy, and I need to remove all this. I think we're done with these mask pieces, and they're stampy and inky, so at this point I am going to throw them away. Look at how cool that tree came out. Isn't that neat? That's a really pretty one. It's kind of elegant looking. And I like the color of the ink. We're nearing the end. This is going to be like a 2-hour video, which is fine. But we're getting a lot made. And if you stuck around for this long, thank you. I appreciate it. Please like and subscribe to my video because I really, 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 really need to get my numbers way up. And it's a great holiday gift to give to me. And it's free. There. Simple, but really pretty. I think, at least, I hope. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one, we're going to be using some rubber stamps. Let me get out some inks, some colors. Use that one. Use that one. Maybe that one. And then maybe this one. Okay, so we're going to take that one away, that one away, that one away. Whoops. Oh, wait a minute. Do I need... Oh. I might need that one. All right. Let's clear this away. So what I pulled out, I don't know if I'm going to use all of these or not. Elements by Luminous Stamps. We have Pine, Truffle, Sahara, and Henna. And then Catherine Pooler, we have Tiki Torch. Okay. We are going to be making a tree. using things rubber stamp wise that you wouldn't necessarily use to make a tree. And in this case, we are using pine cones. So we'll use this one. So we have the solid one, and then we have the two decoration ones. And I am going to stamp these first to see. Okay, there's the order right there. So you do the solid first, then you do, it's hard to tell. This one last, I think. But we are going, I have ink all over this. We are going to stamp these first, and we're going to see. I think that is my order right there. And this is from Christmas Pines from Stampin' Up. So for my background, I want my background to be light. So I'm debating if I'm going to do it in Sahara, and the answer is yes, I am. So I know this is the background, but we're going to stamp it here a couple times so I can test out the next ones. So we're just going to leave that there. So for this, we are going to, we're going to get ink all over the paper. We are going to, oh my gosh, I'm covered in ink and that's what's getting it everywhere. All right, we'll just use that side. We are going to stamp this in the shape of a tree. And we're going to use pine cones. Much like the sticker. It's okay if it doesn't fully stamp because we are coming in and we're going to stamp over all of these. Okay, so there's layer one. Let's put that out of the way. Let's put this out of the way. Next one, I think, is this one. So I'm going to do the next lightest, which is the opposite of what I said earlier. So I just want to double check that I have my sort of order correctly. Yes, I do. You can see that there. Okay. There goes my stomach chiming in. So this is the Catherine Pooler one. Oh, wait a minute. I'm making a mess with this. It got everywhere. Let's start that over. And these are layered stamps, so don't forget to use your layered stamps. You know, layering stamps is fun. You don't have to be super precise. Clearly, I'm not. But see, it covered up that spot that wasn't necessarily perfect. How neat is that? Now, you can do these in funky colors if you wanted. Get out your blues and pinks again and do those. Once again, I'm in Maine. This type of stuff is big. Pine cones, pine needles, pine boughs. not perfect. I'm not stamping it perfect. I don't need to. There's that. It's kind of pretty, just by itself. But I had the idea that you could take one of these. I want to have my giant block, although this will fit. And this pine bough has a double that goes with it, but I'm not going to use it. There. And there is some little ones that I can use as red dots. Let me just stick these back, get my hands all filthy. Oh, see over here. Okay, put those back so I don't ruin those. Wipe my hands off. And then I'm going to come back with that red. Paprika. I do need that one. Let's just do a bundle of berries. I kind of wish they were in threes. There. Okay. Let me clean all this off because this is filthy. And I definitely need to put this away before I move on. Number one, so I don't get covered even more. And number two, so I don't lose it. I paid a lot of money for all those things. I want to make sure I keep them in halfway decent shape. How cute is that? Now, these are not grounded. You want to like put little stems on them and stuff. You go for it. I just kind of, I kind of like it the way it is. This is the technique of taking a whatever stamp, whatever, and making it into the shape of a tree. That is the technique for this. My stomach is chiming in. Super simple. I used to do very elaborate Christmas cards, and I would start in July. Like, we would get together, my friends and I, and we would create, you know, we would have like Christmas card making parties, and we'd all make very elaborate cards, and you know, we would get together multiple times and chatting and eating, chatting, occasionally crafting, we'd get our cards done. You know, sometimes it would take us like the month of June, the month of July, the month of August. Excuse to get together, excuse to chat and eat, but we'd get them all done. And I used to make like 150 at a time. Love that one. Super easy, super simple. Okay, my last one. Of course, my hands are so filthy for this one. We are going to do, this one's filthy anyways, this piece of paper, so I don't care about that. What we are going to do, and I'm going to do two at the same time because this one's filthy too. We are going to cut out a tree. There's our general tree-ish. Let me grab the other goodies that I'm going to need for this one. All right. Here it is. Okay, so for this one, I have Peaceful Deer and Dashing Deer. Don't know which one I'm going to use. I don't know. I like this and I like this. This one we've been using on the other one. So we're going to use probably a combination of those. But for this, the technique is, my hands are just filthy. Wipe them on my top. The technique is we are going to tear this. And I want my torn edge down here. There. And we can lay it over this one because I want another torn edge right here. We can take this and lay it right here because I want this to be another torn edge. Doing the same thing. This is my last one. Okay? So when you put them together, you have that. Now, what we're going to do, and if I wanted to add just the little tree topper there, I can, and I probably will. I need to make this a little bit smaller because it has to fit on this. Okay, what I need to do is, I have my pastels, and this is a brand new set. I haven't used these yet. Got them at Job Lots. Got them on sale. So what I need to do is I need to grab a brush, and this is kind of a stiffer brush, which is what I want. Let me move all of this out of the way. And I am going to use on the edge of each one of these cut things. Now you can use ink or you can use pastels. We're going to go with this one right here, this blue. And this is just going to pick up the blue ever so slightly. If I wanted to come in with my finger and do that, I can. This is a stiffer brush. I kind of like that. My stomach is just chatting away. When you put it against the white, you can see the pastel on it. This is such a soft, pretty look. And I think I'm going to kind of do the edges a little bit too here, which isn't torn. Just laying just a little bit of color there. Okay. As I go, I want to glue it. Because I need this to dry. I need my glue to come out too. There we go. And I don't want this so tall, but I'm going to match these up. And I want to do the edge. So the torn edge is what holds on to, as opposed to if I'd done it on that side, it wouldn't hold on to the pastel as well. There, and I'm gonna just come and do a little bit on the edge right there. And then the next one is this one. I'll do the edge here. And then I'm going to just do the whole edge. Okay. There's that. Oops. Let me move this out of the way because we are done with that. And now let's glue all this together. There. This will be very simple. And now look, if I put it against this white, you can see how it stands out a little bit. Can you see that? It does stand out. This blue is a very pale blue, and I wanted a very pale blue. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this to the paper, the bigger paper. There. Let me just hold that like this while I get these guys out. And I want this one. And I want this one. So let's come in with the green. And I could have done this before I glued it actually, but that's okay. That stamped like that. And this guy over here. If I stamp the second stamp, it looks like it's in the background. So there's a whole bunch of trees that are going up the tree. And then we're going to put that deer right there. And I'm going to do that in one of the browns. I think I want truffle. Yeah, we'll use truffle. So this is layering your paper and stamping on the different layers. Now, I could have stamped it before I put it all together, before I glued it. But this works too. And I'm going to come in and just give it, like, I know it's the winter, but we're going to do just a little bit of grass. There. And that's that one. You can stamp the background with the snowflakes if you wanted. I kind of wanted the white on the white. And I think that's 11 techniques that we did. Oh, this one's so thick. So we did a lot to keep you busy. If you want to put these in a journal, you want to make these into Christmas cards, you want to decorate your house with all of these, that is fine. Do what makes you happy. And on this one, if I didn't want to fully glue down the tree, I could have used the tree as a tuck spot on this. Have it tucked right here. My hands are so filthy, I don't want to get stuff all over it. But there's that one. So this is torn layers with pastels, stamping on the different layers. That's what this one is. So let's go back and look at all of them, because this has been a long video. This has been pine cone stamped tree, snowflake stamped tree with masking. This has been the Tim Holtz, what are these? Here they are. The distress crayons, that's right. The Tim Holtz distress crayons with masking. This has been watercolor with masking. Tim Holtz watercolor pencils with masking. This has been using a decoupage napkin that is not holiday, that is more local to your area. This is tearing with a ruler using ledger paper. This is freehand tearing using book page and scrapbooking paper. This is sanding thicker book page or magazine page with a stencil behind it. And this is using mandala stickers. All of this to create trees. I hope this has been so much fun for you as it has been for me. I love creating, and I wanted to make a really long video now that my pneumonia mostly is gone by the wayside. And I enjoy trees. They're not just for the holidays. So I do like making Maine themed books and cards and different things like that. So I would use some of these in those type of items, not necessarily holiday, because it's a tree. Maine is a pine tree state. So this is our pine trees for the pine tree state. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Check out my website, www.elementalenерgieswithchrisanne. I'm running a huge special for another week on $50 off a half-hour psychic reading, booking the reading, or purchasing it through a gift certificate. I recommend the gift certificate, and you can use it as a gift too. Use the coupon code thank you, all one word, for that. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care and be free. Let me know which one's your favorite.